Well, hello everyone. Good evening. I'm really honored that you are here, either in presence or listening to the replay for this Kick the Sugar Habit presentation. My name is Catherine Gagnon. I'm a health coach, energy and vitality health coach, and I also hold a valid license as a nurse practitioner. I am someone who's just passionate about life, about hang gliding, horseback riding, riding my bike, playing music, painting, skiing. I'm just someone of many, many passions. And to do these passions, I need to have health, energy, and vitality. So before starting, what I would love to do is just have you think about a moment when you've been eating some sugar, and what are the sensations or the emotions that you have when you eat sugar? How good does it feel, right? Just reconnect with that experience, right? Because we're going to talk about sugar tonight, and we're going to explore your relationship with food, with sugar. But yeah, just think about when you have sugar and how it makes you feel. So awesome. So what you're going to learn today is we're going to talk about what sugar does in your body. We're going to explore why when we start eating sugar that it's actually really hard to stop. What's happening there? And then we're going to talk about what sugar and stress have in common, and why it's so intertwined together, sugar and stress. And then we're going to go on and talk about how to transform your sugar cravings and stressful habits so that you can kick those habits for good. First of all, I would love to congratulate you for being here and wanting to learn more about sugar. And this proves me that you are making some strides towards your best health and vitality. So I just want you to acknowledge being here and taking these first steps. And I want to congratulate you. All right. Why am I here talking to you about sugar cravings? So now I know how to eat to satisfy my own unique body. I know how to eat to have sustained, focused energy all day long, mental clarity, inner peace, motivation, and a healthy stress level. I know how to calm the chaos and to stop the survival mode that is oftentimes trying to invade us, right, in the chaos of life. And I know now that my body really thrives on a diet that is with the least amount of sugar possible. And I understood that's how my body functions to its best through the illness that I've had to treat in the past year, where I've been affected with Lyme disease. So because of Lyme, I've had to kick the sugar, and it was difficult at first. But then it just gave me a whole new way of thinking with food and how I want to feel in my own body. And that required simple changes, right? It required motivation. Well, being sick was a really big motivation, gotta tell you that. And I just acquired new knowledge that facilitated this transition. And now I can say that I'm able to live in harmony with my own body. If I wasn't able to do the things that I'm going to talk to you about, there's no way I could be standing in front of you right now and giving you this talk while being in active treatment for Lyme's disease. So I now know how my body functions at its best, but it's not always been the case. Despite a healthy body weight, I was somebody who could just eat anything that I wanted, really. And I was engulfing really a lot of crappy foods, weird combinations of food, and I was eating a lot. Like I was somebody who just had to eat like every 2 hours. I was somebody who was very stressed out. Performance was big, so it was like go, go, go all the time, eat, eat, eat. And even though I was spending my whole day eating, I was always tired, and I was feeling brain fogged and lacking motivation, lacking courage to do my projects, to move forward my dreams, and to just do the things that we need to do in a day, right? So I was trying to stuff myself with sugar in order to give myself energy, but I was always crashing, right? So I just didn't know what to eat in order to have the energy that I wanted. And my energy throughout my 20s and 30s was going downwards instead of going upwards. And that was not normal, right? 20 and 30 years old, you should be full of energy. So I tried, omnivorous food. I tried fast food. I tried vegetarian. I tried veganism. I tried everything, thinking that my body would find what it needed. But I was, even though I was eating all the time, I was never satisfied. I was always hungry. And it didn't matter where I was always fearing that my blood sugar would drop, and that I would feel really like spacey and tired, especially when I was going to fly my hang glider, because you don't want to get hypoglycemic in the air. Certainly I didn't. So I was always kind of having this stress around food, and it was, in retrospect, it was probably contributing to burning half of my energy anyways. So I'm not sure if somebody recognizes themselves in this story, but because I was not gaining weight, I could eat anything, but it was really detrimental to my health. So at some point, I just knew that something had to change, and it was a long time that I had been waiting for this change. But that's when I discovered something that has changed, literally changed everything in my life. And I was skeptical at first. I didn't think it was going to work for me, but I persevered in a manner that I had never done before. And that was after having 2 orthopedic surgeries, so bones taken out of my feet. I knew that change was mandatory, and it's through experimentation and making realization and observing how my body was functioning that I was able to have a new start. And after 2 weeks of doing this, this new way of being and eating, I stopped being hungry constantly. I finally was able to spend more than 4 hours without eating. Like, what a relief. I wasn't scared of dropping my blood sugar anymore. And I regained my mental clarity, my motivation, and my courage to move anything forward, right? My life projects. The most important thing is I regained this energy. Like, I didn't know where it came from, but I was just like, wow, I've got so much energy. It's crazy. With energy came the capacity to have better concentration, focus, great mood, and surprisingly, self-esteem became to emerge, and the courage to express my truth and to be really who I am. One thing that was really amazing was that in the midst of making those changes, I made those changes in between my 2 orthopedic surgeries. And the second surgery, I was healing like 4 times faster than the first one. Literally, the joint was regaining flexibility. I wasn't in so much pain as before. And even my physiotherapist was wondering, he says, what did you do? He says, because he had rehabbed my first foot. Now he was rehabbing my second foot. He said, I don't know what you did, but I have a feeling I've got 2 different patients in front of me. So I want to know what you did. So that's when I developed a system that I called Health and Energy Total Transformation System. Because I realized that, oh my gosh, if I can do this, I can help others transform their lives and their health as well. So I wanted to help people that were tired of being tired and stressed out to get rid of the vicious circle of sugar cravings and to help them regain their energy, their mental clarity, and their good moods naturally. So, I've been a nurse practitioner since 2012. And it's fascinating that what I realize is what is most empowering for people, what is most good for their health is not the pills that I was prescribing. It was actually the habits, changing habits, nutrition, movement, thoughts and attitudes. That was the most, that was the best investment for people's health and vitality. So that's when I went back to school and I became a health coach in 2016, actually. And I've been coaching many clients through my program. So it's by using the same steps that I'm going to share with you tonight that my clients have transformed their relationship to food and to their body to regain their energy and their mental clarity, and to seize the vicious circle of the sugar cravings. And most of them, to their grand surprise, have built a healthy self-esteem, self-confidence that gave them the motivation and the courage to do their life's projects and to be, authentic and to express their truth in their relationships. So it's really a total transformation. So my objective is to help you reconnect the dots, to show you exactly how you can come back on the track of optimal health and energy, no matter how far you've been derailing with your health. So you're in the right place tonight if you're wondering why you crave sugar at certain times of the day. You're in the right place if you're done reinventing the wheel and you want something and somebody to guide you into what works and what doesn't work for real, right? You're in the right place if you want to discover what is keeping you from the health and energy that you want, how to get unstuck. You're ready to finally get this sugar thing and food thing handled so that you can take control of your life. And you're tired of being tired and stressed out and overwhelmed and exhausted. So if you recognize yourself in one of those affirmations, you're in exactly the right place. And it's not by chance that we're here together talking about sugar and your health. So today, I'm going to show you how to kick the sugar habit, while decreasing your stress and to gain more mindfulness. You're going to learn how to do this without a massive lifestyle makeover or without giving up goodness and sweetness in your life. You're going to learn how to transform into your best health, your best energy, moods, and your best life. And then I promise that in the end, I'm going to show you, if you want to take this a step further, I will show you how, if this is what you want. So first of all, why do we talk about sugar in the first place? So since the 1970s, there has been a 300% increased consumption of sugar annually in human consumption. So we went from consuming 22 kilograms of sugar per year to consuming 62 kilograms of sugar per person per year. This is huge and massive. And it's because the nutrition industry has been cutting into the fat, right? It's been the fat-free revolution. So they've been taking out the fat in the food, but when you take out something in food, you have to put something else in its place. So they put sugar in its place, right? So we are still suffering from the vestige of the fat-free revolution. Normally when we make adjustments in our body, in our metabolism, the body makes adjustments in in a matter of centuries. Like in the past, when the hunters gatherers came, in contact with the new food, let's say blueberries appeared in the diet, the body would take a couple of centuries or maybe 10 years or a little bit more to develop enzymes to digest those new foods. But what we've been doing with sugar to our body is in less than actually 50 years, we've been giving our body a metabolic concussion, really, really shaking our body with something that it's not used to and it's not built for. This, when we just think about in a can of soda, could be Pepsi or Coke, there's the equivalent of 8 to 10 teaspoons of sugar. That's a lot. That's a lot of sugar. And, our breakfast with the sweet, sugary cereals and not a lot of proteins and, lots of white bread and empty calories, we call them, that contributes to sending the blood sugar in a roller coaster. And I'll show you in a second what it does. And that creates your 10 o'clock in the morning or your 3 o'clock in the afternoon cravings, because you're feeling this lump of energy. So it's clear that our body needs the sugar for fuel. But what is important is the quality and the quantity of fuel that we give our body. So science has proven that eating too much sugar leads to production of too much insulin. And that can lead to insulin resistance. And, it can lead to associated debilitating illnesses, right? Like more serious illnesses, obesity, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cardiac disease, strokes, cancers, dementia. I mean, it's huge. And when I was working as a nurse practitioner, I could see them. I was seeing those people every day in my office. And all those things are preventable, right? Mostly with the lifestyle. Another interesting fact about sugar, it contributes to cellular aging through a process that's called glycation. So the sugar will make the proteins, it's going to break down the proteins and actually make them brown. Like when you have onions in that you're cooking onions and they turn brown, that's because of the sugar content in them. That's the process of glycation. But the same thing happens in our cells when we eat too much sugar. The sugar gets bound to our proteins and it breaks them down and it ages them. So the skin that ages is actually an example of how the proteins are degraded, are broken down by the sugar. It's actually, the skin is actually a window to what's happening internally in our organs, right? And our organs and the skin and the tissues are losing this elasticity and the tone. And in the process of being broken down by sugar, they will release a series of toxins that will provoke inflammation in the body. Inflammation, when let's say we hit our arm somewhere, it hurts, it becomes swollen, it's red, it becomes hard. Inflammation is a defense mechanism of the body, right? But it's also now being identified as the base of most chronic illnesses such as metabolic syndrome, diabetes, cancers, dementias, autoimmune diseases. So inflammation goes far, and the role of sugar is really important in creating inflammation in the body. So I hope this makes sense for you, as I'm just telling you the importance of talking about sugar and getting those cravings under control. All right, first, some fun facts. How many grams of sugar should we consume maximum in a day, do you think? I'll give you the answers because you're all muted, so I can't you can't talk. But so for women, as women, we should be consuming no more than 24 grams of sugar or a max of 6 teaspoons of sugar per day. For men, it's 36 grams of sugar or a maximum of 9 teaspoons of sugar. And it doesn't take very long. You just take, let's say, fruit juice, and you just look for one serving, the amount of grams of sugar there's in there, and it doesn't take long that you have you've hit the maximum in a day. If you have just 2 glasses of that juice, it's a lot of sugar. So that leads to the second question. How many grams of sugar do people consume on average in a day? So remembering that for women, 6 teaspoons, for men, 9 teaspoons should be the maximum. In average, in America at least, people have been consuming between 100 and 125 grams of sugar. So that is 25 teaspoons of sugar per day. That is huge, huge. And most time it's because of the hidden sugar, right? And lastly, how much sugar is there in a 20-ounce bottle of Dr. Pepper, do you think? There is 64 grams in one bottle. So that's 16 teaspoons of sugar. It's just, you might as well take it plain right there. So that's a lot of sugar. And I don't know if you are big coffee fans, but coffee is a good example of something really simple to change the amount of sugar that you're taking in, and decreasing your chances of extra stress or even adrenal fatigue. So 1 cup of coffee with one sugar, or like 2 teaspoons of sugar, and 1 cream will contain 12 grams of sugar, because milk or the cream is sugar itself. So for women, that's about half of the amount that you are supposed to have maximum in the day. And for men, it's about a third, and that's in 1 coffee. And it also depends which kind of cream that you add, right? So if you put these little creamers and with flavors, like French vanilla or pumpkin spice in there, just these creamers, they have 5 grams of sugar in them. So that adds up 17 grams of sugar to your coffee. Yeah, think twice. Think twice what you put in the coffee. So those were some fun facts. Now, when it comes to sugar, there are 3 main challenges when it comes to sugar cravings, and everybody that I talk to and all of my clients have been facing this. So the challenge number 1 is the 3 W's, right? So why do I have sugar cravings in the first place? Why those cravings feel out of control, and what to do about it. So we will solve that mystery right now, shall we? You have received with the talk, you have received a document that is called the Polarity of Food. So this might be a good time to pull it out, or you can look at it later if you're not in a space to look at the document. But one thing that's interesting is, nutritionists, they view nutrition in terms of calories and grams of fat and such things. So as a health coach and nurse practitioner, that is only one perspective with which I look at food. The other perspective is pretty cool, and the concept is called the Polarity of Food. So what does that mean? The concept of the polarity is pretty simple, and it's based on the principle that everything has a polarity of 2 extremes, right? Like, for example, there's hot and cold. Those are extremes of temperature. It's the same thing that when we look for one thing, its opposite is always present. So, hard and soft, noisy and silence, light and dark, good and bad. So when we find one thing, we always find its opposite. So to look through the lens of polarity means that you are looking at life in pairs, in series of pairs. And what's interesting is when we come to apply this concept to food, we want to first appreciate that food is much more than simply just a fuel for the body, for the physical body. Because food has energetic qualities that goes beyond the sciences and mechanics. You know, for example, the green leafy vegetables, they grow upward, right? So they have this kind of uplifting energy. They uplift your energy. While the vegetables that grow in the ground, like the root vegetables, like, you know, the potatoes, the carrots, and the beets, they grow downwards. So they have a very grounding energy. So how can we apply this to the polarity of food, and where does those quality, like those energetic quality of food, where do they fall on the spectrum? So you can look on the document or you can look on the screen. So to the extreme right, you see a concept that's called expansive bliss. So the foods that are associated with this energy are alcohol, caffeine, sugar, dairy, and to a certain degree, some fruits that are very sweet. So the energy of these foods, they make you feel light, relaxed, happy, just, you know, it's bliss, right? So when you eat too much of these foods of blissful, you know, expansive bliss, you start to feel a little bit spacey. Even you might start to feel a brain fog or lose your memory, right? At the other extreme of the polarity of food, this is where you've got the energy of contracted tension. So the foods that are associated with this energy, they are contractive instead of expansive. So examples of these foods are salt, eggs, red meat, and those are the kinds of food that put meat around the bone, right? Those foods, they make you feel grounded and focused and driven. But if you eat too much of them, you can start to feel tensed, agitated, aggressive, even like angry, right? So those are the two extremes. And in the middle, you can see the foods that are a little bit more neutral and that contribute to keep a better balance. So you got your fruit, nuts, your poultry, your fish, leafy greens, the grains, the roots, and the berries. So that's all really good, but how is it that those two extremes of polarity of expansive bliss and contractive tension, how are they related to food cravings? Well, I'm glad you're asking the question. If life is a system of opposites, and if your body is constantly searching to find its own balance, what do you think will happen if you eat too many foods that are contractive, like salt, red meat, or eggs? What do you think your body will crave in order to rebalance itself? Yeah, it's going to give you cravings of expansive, blissful, relaxing foods, right? You're going to want to have those foods. And do you find that when you eat salty foods like chips, that you have cravings for sweets afterwards, right? That is one of the challenges. If we eat too much of contractive foods, we're gonna have cravings for expansive foods. And if we eat too many expansive foods, we're gonna have cravings for contractive foods. So that's what the majority of people don't know, is that, and I had to realize this myself, is that oftentimes we create our own cravings unknowingly. How amazing is that? How amazing is that to know that our cravings are within our own control, right? So you could even look at the activities of life through the lens of polarity of contraction and expansion. So there are some things that happen in life that are a little bit more contractive, right? They create more tension. And there are things that are more expansive. They create more relaxations. So examples of contractive activities, overworking, being too stressed, going to bed too late, just not giving yourself the permission to relax, right? So that's when you have too many contractive activities, you're going to crave relaxing, blissful, expansive activities. And that's when you're probably going to go and stuff yourself in the chocolate or the wine or the dessert and the bread and the muffins and the cheese and all that. And that's because your body is begging you to give it a break. It needs things like sleeping, reading, meditating, taking a bath, going for a walk. It just wants to relax. And if you don't relax, you're going to have some cravings for sugar, right? So that's, the cravings are really just a message that your body is sending you, that it's saying, hey, I'm trying to find the balance again, right? And yeah. So when I work with my clients to deconstruct their cravings, we look at not only their diet and what they eat, but we also look at all of their lifestyle, all of their life hygiene, and how they live, basically. So I had a client. She was a mother of 3 children, and in order to relax from the chaos of being at home and the kids and the house, making the food, she was so stressed out and in financial debt and the tensions with her partner and all that. She would sit down and have 3, 4, 5 glasses of wine per night, on top of eating, frozen foods that were full of additive and salt and all that. So that was the only way she was able to relax. So we looked at her diet and we rebalanced her diet. We increased the energy in her body. And then we looked at the aspects of her life that were asking to be nourished, right? And the aspects of her life that were creating stress and tension, right? And it's by giving herself permission to experience those moments that felt good, that was releasing the pressure for her, that she could let go of the wine completely without even suffering about it, and that she could drop some weight. I think she lost something a little over 20 pounds in the time that we worked together, and that she was able to have a much better relationship with food and her body. So that's the expansion and contraction polarity of food that is creating some of the cravings. Alrighty. Second challenge out of the 3 challenge. No one wants to quit sugar. Why does it feel so good, right? No one wants to do it. I don't know if some of you have ever said, I'm just a sugar bug. Like I'm a sugar beetle, or I'm a sugar addict. So we're going to explore, why do we love it so much? And we're going to explore what happens in your body when you eat sugar, and why you go through like a big high of sugar and then crash afterwards. So this is the blood sugar roller coaster. So the foods that contain a lot of sugar usually don't have much fiber, proteins, or fat. And we know that fiber, proteins, and fat have the characteristics of slowing down the absorption of sugar. So when these nutrients are not present, your blood sugar is going to rise really high and really fast, just when we go on a roller coaster. So at the top of this roller coaster, this is going to be an emergency alert for your brain, because the brain consumes the majority of the sugar in the body. The brain needs a lot of sugar, and if there's a peak of sugar, the brain thinks that we're in an emergency situation, like our survival is at stake, like there's a mammoth running at us and we need to do something, right? So with the peak like this, the brain is going to be like freaking out. So with this state of urgency, you might feel anxious and even more stressed out than you were before eating that sugar. And then what does the body does when we eat the sugar? You've got your pancreas, which is a lovely organ behind the liver, that will secrete the hormone called insulin. And I don't want to do a whole pathophysiology course here, but just, quickly, insulin is the hormone that takes the sugar from the blood and brings it into the cells. It's like the key opening the door of the cells to deliver the sugar to them, to feed them, and to keep that blood sugar stable, right? So you see on the diagram here how, we would love to, the optimal states of the blood sugar. And I've put the values both for the United States and for Canada. For, usually people who are diabetic, they know their values a little bit better than most people, just because they have to check it. But know that you don't need to be diabetic to have too high blood sugar and too low blood sugar. So what happens is when, let's say, we eat a lot of sugar, and then your pancreas is the sugar is spiking up really high, and then the pancreas is sensing that spike of sugar. What it does its job a little bit too well, and it's going to secrete too much insulin. And too much insulin will drop the sugar really, really fast. And then we're going to crash. And when we crash, that's when we feel like, shaky, maybe a little bit sweaty, irritable, hungry, that low blood sugar feeling. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but it's not fun. So what are you going to want at that moment? More sugar. Yes, to raise the blood sugar back up, right? So if we keep doing that, eating sugar and then having a sugar spike and then crashing and spiking and crashing, that's why we literally will not be able to stop the sugar craving, because we're always going to be reactive to this. And this, roller coaster is very stressful for the body. It'll raise stress and anxiety. Sometimes when you're stressed out and you don't know why, and you're like, and food doesn't seem to cut it and nothing seems to cut it. Think about the blood sugar roller coaster. When we're under stress, we lose control of some brain function, of some impulsive inhibition, and we make bad decisions, and we lack mindfulness. So we act without mindfulness, right? So I hope this makes sense for you. And knowing that also when you have a stable blood sugar, that's when your body is able to burn fat as fuel, right? And the body is going to protect the lean muscle proteins. Sorry. And you'll eliminate cravings and increase your energy when you stay within that optimal range of blood sugar. So this phenomenon is why when we start eating sugar and we create those roller coaster, we're not able to stop. It's a physiological response, right? So what are your cravings saying? Your body is always talking to you. We just have not been trained to listen to it, but your body is always trying to come back to balance. So your cravings is just a message that your body is telling you that, hey, something is out of balance, and we need to find that balance as soon as possible. And unfortunately, the easiest way out when you're in the blood sugar roller coaster is, to go for sugar, and that is causing a constant stressed out state. And when we are in that roller coaster and we are in that constant stressed out state, it is scientifically impossible to release the weight for some people who want to lose weight, because when the body is under stress, it's going to hold onto its reserves, and most times it's in the belly that it goes, in the belly and the butt. Also, the blood sugar roller coaster will impact your moods. Like I was saying, Your mood is, if you're creating anxiety, well, your mood will be affected. You might be more irritable. You might be stressed out for no reason. Your blood sugar roller coaster will probably make you gain weight, like I was saying, by holding to those reserves. And the stress decreases immunity. So the constant stress is reducing the ability of your immune system to fight off infections. Doesn't matter if it's the common cold or a sinusitis or ear infection or even something more serious as Lyme disease, right? And there's another element to this history. So when insulin is released in the blood, the first place that it sends the sugar is to the brain, because the brain, like I was saying, it consumes the majority of the sugar that you eat in a day. Then the other place that the insulin is going to send the sugar is in the muscles. Muscles need a lot of sugar to function, to generate energy, to become strong, right? But not, I say lots of sugar. It's the glucose, but it's the usable part of sugar, not like you need donuts to build muscles. Let's make that clear. And then the sugar will go to your blood cells. I love this. I love this image where there's like the red circles are your red blood cells, and the white circles are your white blood cells, and the brown circles are donuts. We need to talk. So all that to say that if all these receptors are full with, they've been bound with sugar because you've eaten enough already, where do you think the extra sugar will go? I hate to say it, but it'll go in your belly and your butt. That's when the excess sugar is stuck as fat. So we can say that insulin is the hormone that stocks fat, right? That is one of the reasons why when somebody's diabetic and taking insulin, oftentimes they will gain weight because insulin stocks the fat. So there's something else I want you to take in consideration. The majority of people that are being careful of their health, and they're sometimes they'll eat some things that might be deemed healthy, but it's not really that healthy. Let's say juice, fruit juices and stuff. And when we're trying to work for balance in our life, oftentimes people are not conscious of the roller coaster ride, the emotional roller coaster ride that accompanies eating sweet stuff, even in the natural healthy foods, when we don't know how to balance the blood sugar properly. So, people can eat that sugar and feel happy and energetic for a while, and then all of a sudden they become snappy and irritable, and their mood is crappy, and they don't understand. They might cry, or I don't know, it's a whole mess. So not really what we look for. So balance is sometimes really hard to attain no matter what we do if we don't know how to do it. Does that resonate with some of you? Yeah. So the third challenge is, this is a challenge that I've observed in myself and in a lot of my clients, is that when you're not happy, when you're stressed out, in certain aspects of your life, like your career, your relationships, your finances, your trainings, your sexual life, the weather, the place where you live, the irritants in your life, it's oftentimes much more easier to go towards sugar instead of facing what is really happening under the surface. And I understand that totally. In fact, here was what was happening with one of my clients. Melanie had a lot of cravings. She was grazing all the time, and her work was heavy. Her kids were getting on her nerves. She was just dragging herself, and she was feeling at the opposite of the the happy and light girl that she was once, that she once had known. So with her as well, we started with rebalancing her nutrition for her unique body. We reorganized her calendar so that she could have sacred moments with herself. And then she started to tell her needs and to put healthy boundaries and to speak about the true person within herself that was afraid of expressing herself. And her relationship with her partner, with her family, and her colleagues and her kids have all improved so much that, lately she was writing to me and saying how she was so happy since our program together. And we finished actually almost a year ago. And the what she had acquired maintained. So it's sometimes very, very simple, and it's sometimes just in our face, but we don't see it. It's, life is a mirror of what's going on inside. And I love how when you when you look at the word stressed backwards, it makes desserts. So when we're stressed out, we're looking for desserts, right? But again, what if the cravings were really a messenger? A messenger that even if the cravings are a pain in the butt, I want to invite you to see it as an ally, right? That it's a messenger helping you engage on the path of the best version of yourself, on the path of your best health and energy. And that is encouraging, right? So all we need to do is let go, create the vision that we want, and kickstart. All right. So you didn't come here just to hear about problems. You came for solutions as well. So we're going to look at where to start to release a little bit of stress in order to be a little bit more conscious and present in your daily life, and to let go of the sugar cravings without feeling hungry, or to deprive yourself of the sweetness in your life, even if you've never tried something like this before. So it's baby steps. So you don't need to write these things. I have all of them written down on a document that you will be receiving. I'll tell you how to get this document in not too long. So there are 7 solutions to sugar cravings on this document, and you can just simply listen and absorb everything I'm going to tell you, knowing that they're all written down for you. So the first solution is the hydration department. It can seem really, really stupid, but oftentimes sugar cravings are a sign of dehydration. So when you have a craving, drink a big glass of water, wait 5 minutes, and see if the cravings is still there. And you might be surprised. Also, think about the amount of caffeine that you drink in a day, because not only caffeine will dehydrate you because it's a diuretic, it'll make you pee, but it can also imitate a drop of sugar. You're on a high for a little while because of the caffeine, and then your blood sugar drops dramatically, and then you might want some more sugar. So watch out for the amount of caffeine that you ingest in a day. Solution number 2 is to satisfy your sweet tooth with the vegetable, the fruits, and the spices that are sweet. So your tongue has a lot of taste buds on it for sugar. And these taste buds are asking to be satisfied. So don't hold them hostages, right? You can add the foods naturally that are naturally sweet, such as squashes, carrots, beets, little berries, figs, apples, cinnamon, coriander, clove. There's just so much stuff that contains sugar in our natural food that we forget that. And don't forget to really chew that food, because by chewing, you're going to extract all the sugar from these foods, and then you're going to taste them. So you won't need as much sugar afterwards. The third solution is sleep. I know, For most of us, it's easier said than done. But if you're constantly tired, your body is constantly searching that source of energy in the form of sugar or caffeine. So I'm inviting you to do like a deconnection ritual at night, an hour earlier than usual. You know, disconnect from all the mobile, the screens, the computer, the iPads, and the cell phone of this world, and just see how with allowing that, how your sleep is impacted and how your sugar cravings will be impacted. Again, you might be surprised. Solution number 4 is to have sufficient protein amount. And this is a really cool fact, right? If you start noticing the amount of protein and what type of proteins that you eat, pay special attention to animal protein. Sorry. When you eat too little proteins, that's when it can lead to intense sugar cravings. But eating too much animal proteins can also lead to sugar cravings from that contractive tension. You know, like it gives you a craving for blissful expansion. So when I work with my clients, we make sure to find the right amount of protein for their unique body in order to feel satisfied and get rid of the sugar cravings. Solution number 5 is to let go of the fat-free foods. Yeah, you've heard me say it. You know, when the industry, the nutrition industry, take out the fat in the foods, what do you think they put instead? Yeah, they put sugar. So let's get out of the vestige of the 1980s and 70s of the fat-free, because eating good fats will in fact help you stabilize your blood sugar much longer, and it's going to give you the foundation construction materials to construct all the cells and the hormones in your body. Good fats are essential for your health, for your energy. So yep, there's more and more studies showing that. And when you eat good fats, you won't gain weight. You won't. I mean, when you eat good fats and you drop the sugar. But if you eat fat plus the sugar, that's when you're gonna gain weight, of course. Solution number 6 is move yourself. Movement is another type of food for your body. You know, movement helps to release stress. It's going to help you feel really, really good. And when your body is not moving enough, it's going to search for other means of releasing the tension. And this outlet can easily be chocolate squares, right? Also, moving your body will help stabilize your blood sugar once more. So move yourself. And the 7th solution is to create new rituals after the meal. So if you're the type of person that loves to have a dessert after a meal, one of the things that you like about this is the ritual of dessert. So just ask yourself, what other rituals after meals could be optimal for you, right? It could be, I don't know, herbal tea. There's tons of different rituals that could replace the desserts from your diet. So those are the 7 solutions to sugar cravings. So I know there's a few people watching this talk that will want to take things further. Like I promised, I will share with you how you can do this. And I will tell you how to put into action all this information that I've been giving you so that you are able to transform in a manner that is durable. I love this slide. So after watching all this information, do you feel confident 100% that you'll be able to get rid of the sugar cravings all and for good? 100%. Do you feel confident? Most people will say no. And that's because we've forgotten to speak about the three key ingredients that will bring all of this together, right? So without these three ingredients, we can stay stuck with the same patterns and repeat the same behaviors that are keeping us stuck. So sometimes when we get new information, some people are doing awesome for a little while, we get new information, we're motivated, we renew our own promises to ourselves, and then we take action in a constant manner for a week or maybe two. We are convinced that this time is going to be the good one and it's going to be different. And usually that's around January 10, 12, 15. And then what happens? Our motivation is flattening, and then we derail once more. Like most people, we know what to do, but we don't always do it. Yeah, and that's most of us. That's because knowing is not enough. Knowing doesn't get motivated into action that is sustaining, right? That is sustainable. So we actually are facing a high-fat diet, but there's a lot of theory without practice. So the three key ingredients that bring all of this together is the right system, so doing the things in the right order, the right support, and the right accountability. Those are the three key ingredients, because you have all this, you have all the information, right? Like we have Google for this. You don't need more information. What we need for this time to be different is somebody that encourages our progress, that celebrates with us our small victories that oftentimes we don't even recognize for ourselves. Sometimes somebody that gives us a little, a little love slap, or a kick in the butt when we choose to derail from our promises to better health and energy. And of course, the system to make the right, just the right system, making the right things in the right order. If you want to start running a marathon, you're going to have to start running the first kilometer, right? Make sense? So, since most people will not feel confident 100% that they can get away, that they can, have a grip forever on their sugar cravings, I would like to invite you to a discovery session, a 60-minute discovery session with me. And in this session, we're going to find out the meanings of your cravings, the meaning of your stress, meaning of your lack of, drop of energy and lack of motivation. We're going to look at how to get unstuck and make a plan of action, step by steps, to start a major transformation. I guarantee that you're going to walk away with at least one major aha moment or one major insight from this discovery session. And it's also an invitation on, just being curious on how healthy you can be by formulating a vision of what an optimal health and energy will mean for you. Because oftentimes we're good at knowing what we don't want anymore, but what we want, not so easy, right? So I want you to allow yourself to see even bigger for your health. As a coach, my objective is to inspire you and to guide you to regain your energy, your health, and your vitality in a way that is durable, natural, and fun, right? Because if there's no fun, what's the point? I already have a lot of clients. I mean, I've been taking more than 30 clients into this unique program. And, even to this day, they still write to me. They still tell me, oh my gosh, I'm still harvesting the fruits of the coaching. And I can't believe how my life is right now. I would have never imagined that a couple of months ago. So as a coach, I take the vision of where you want to be, and I hold you into that line, right? So, I have a client that approached me because she had so many cravings throughout the day, but also at night. She was getting up and she was eating at night. She was a retired nurse. She was 64 years old. And so she knew what to do, but she was just not doing it. And throughout the program, you know, she had a lot of pains in her hips and her knees. It was hard for her to bend down. She loved to garden, but she was having a hard time gardening. So you know, we worked with her diet, we worked with her lifestyle, and you know, she was so tired of going to her doctor and getting prescribed pills for this, pills for that. But through working with her nutrition and diet, I think it was something like 7 weeks into the programs, and she was just like, wow, Catherine, I just realized that I have stopped having cravings. I no longer eat at night, and I no longer have pain in my hips and my knees. And the way she noticed it, because it's funny, when we have something, when we have pain, we notice it all the time, but when it goes away, there's an actual moment where we're like, huh, it went away, right? Because we tend to forget these things. But she said to me, she said, oh, today I was, you know, going up and down the stairs, and I noticed that I was expecting my hips to hurt, and they did not hurt. So we found together the foods that her body wanted and the foods that her body did not want anymore, and how to stabilize her blood sugar so that she didn't have any more cravings, how to incorporate more good foods that she liked, and reorganized her lifestyle and her, you know, the perception of stress and the social situations that could provoke inflammation in her body. So we found solutions that were oriented on the results that she wanted, so that she was not feeling deprived. So what makes my program really unique is that we focus on what you can eat, not on what you can't eat. There's no suffering. I don't believe in suffering and healing, right? It doesn't make sense. When I work with a client, I want to inspire you to regain you know, your health and your vitality in ways that are natural and fun. My clients tell me that I'm a coach that is half cheerleader and a half tough love coach. And you know, with the system, the support, and the accountability, you know, those are the three ingredients that have proven to make all the difference between staying stuck versus transcending the barriers. So my coaching programs are available through phone, through Skype or Zoom like this, or FaceTime. So it doesn't matter the distance. I've been coaching people throughout the US and Canada. So, and it doesn't matter if you are planning vacation. I mean, we're flexible. So distance is not a barrier. So if you feel ready for the accountability, the system, and the support in a way that will really work this time, like nothing else that you've tried before, I want to invite you again to total energy and total health and energy discovery session. And during this conversation together, we're going to look at the meaning of your cravings. What is creating your low energy, your stress? What is keeping you stuck, right? And we're going to create a clear vision of what your optimal health and energy means for you. And we're going to create a step-by-step plan to help you move forward. And I guarantee that by investing your time in this discovery session, you're going to walk away with at least one major insight or aha on how to get out of this stuckness and how to be in action. So I would love for you to think just for a moment, what would be one action that you could take right now or in the next 7 days that could have a maximum impact for your health? Just think about that. What if you were to put that in action? Maybe it's something you've been thinking for a long time. Maybe it's something that is just recently came to your attention, right? Usually when I give this talk in person, I have this form where people will give me or just write their answers on there, and then they'll write their name and email for me to contact them for the discovery session. But when I give them over Zoom, then we go with email for scheduling the session. So, are you ready? Do you feel ready for the right system, the right support, and the right accountability? I really invite you with all my heart to this total health and energy discovery session, because just this session in itself is transformational. You're going to walk away with at least one major insight, and I can guarantee that, on how to put yourself in action. And with your name and email, I will send you the documents for the 7th solution that I've been talking about. When you register for discovery sessions, I have a couple of spots in the next week, but I have to say my schedule has been pretty busy lately. So take action. We find balance in action, right? No balance in stagnation. So I want to congratulate you for your time, for your attention, either in presence here tonight or if you're watching the replay, because your presence means that you've been doing the first steps necessary in the right path for your health and energy and vitality, right? Like oftentimes people are frustrated because they don't do what they like and they don't know how to get unstuck. So congratulations for your first step in getting unstuck. So I know it takes courage to look at ourselves in the mirror and see the things, or to look at our own life and see the things that we want to change, to have the courage of a new journey, of a new flight, right? This is me flying my hang glider here at Mount Yamaska in the province of Quebec. So when I fly, that's exactly what it takes. Energy, courage, wanting to break through my limits, right? Despite a fear of a certain unknown, right? But that's when I can taste the freedom and the reward afterwards when I fly. So if you would like to know a little bit more about the coaching programs that I offer and read some success stories and testimonials of people that have made that leap and transformed themselves through my program, you can go visit my website. You can go see my Facebook page, and I also give, lots of tips and videos and recipes and interesting things for your health and your energy. And also you'll be kept up to date with my next talks and specials and all that. So I am so grateful that you are here. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I look forward to connecting with you. Thank you.